Judges, the 13th chapter and verse 1. Judges 13 and verse 1. And here we have, in verse number 1, 13 and verse number 1, we have the great problem. This is the major problem. With the book of Judges, what do we have? Remember? In the book of Judges, now we looked at all the judges' names earlier in our syllabus. And I left my syllabus at home today, so I can't refer to that. I walked off and left it. 13 and verse number 1, it tells the whole story of the book of Judges. All right? Brother Wally, just read verse 1.
And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years.
Okay. Now, remember when Jonah went down to Nineveh? He was supposed to be going to Nineveh. Why didn't he go? Why didn't Jonah go to Nineveh?
Because they didn't like him.
He didn't like them. You know, these were the ones that were impaling people. All right? They were impaling people down there. They were some bad hombres. This is where crucifixion was started. How many of you knew that? It was started in Nineveh. All right? And this is the way it was. It was called impaling. They put a stake, a sharpened stake in the ground, and they set a man or a woman on it. And slowly, that thing would drive itself up from the weight through their bodies, and they would slowly die. Well, later on, the Romans improved this to where they nailed them to a cross. They would live longer and suffer longer than they did this way. All right? But these Ninevites had invented this terrible torture. Okay? And they were a ruthless, hard people. But God had prophesied that he was going to use them to chastise Israel. Well, also, God, through Jonah, said, if you go down there, preach to them that I'm going to destroy them, and they only have so long to repent or they're done for. Okay? So, he didn't want to go. Because if God destroyed those people, then he couldn't use them to chastise Israel. Israel was a wayward child. God would spank them back into obedience again. And that's the whole book of Judges, is Israel goes astray, God spanks them with somebody else that he corrects them with, and then he has a deliverer for them. All right, and that's the story of Judges. Sin, spankings, repentance, and come back home and get delivered. That's the story. So we have here now the sons of Israel, again, did evil. All right? Did the evil, or in the sight of the Lord. All right? Now, what's that word Lord there? Who is that? You know, there's a lot of... Huh? Where am I? There we go. Who is it, Brother Rex? Jehovah. That's right. It's Jehovah. All right, and Jehovah. Now, in verse number 2, let's look at this verse now. Verse number 2. Brother David, are you over there in 13 and verse 2? Or?
Now there was a certain man from Zorah of the family of Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and had no children.
All right, now here we have a Danite. Now what does the name Dan mean?
Either serpent or eagle.
Now what do you remember? What is the feminine for Dan? Dinah. All right, Dinah is the feminine for Dan. And what does it mean? Anybody remember what Dan means? He was a serpent. Yes, it called him a serpent. All right, but it means judge. Judge. All right, that's what it means, judge. Now, how about the name Manoah? Manoah. Have you ever heard the word Manoah before? Manoah. All right. All right. On the front of the Hebrew word, man means out of. All right? Or from. All right? Now, just take the man off the front of that and tell me what it says. Noah. All right. What does Noah mean?
Teacher? Safety?
What? Safety, peace, tranquility. All right? From peace is what his name means. All right? In other words, this is going to be a gift of peace. All right? His name means peace. From peace. All right? are originating from peace or from safety. Rest. All right? Was Israel resting now, or were they being tormented? They were being tormented. So now they're going to, from God is going to come rest. And here is the man, Manoah. And he said his wife, they were barren and they had no children. They had no children. And then 13 and verse 3. Let's look at that. 13 and verse 3. 13 and verse 3. Randall.
Then the angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and
All
said,
right, hold on right there. The angel of the Lord. Who is this? All right. Who's this angel of the Lord?
Yeshua HaMashiach.
All right. This is the angel of the Lord. The angel, the Malak of Jehovah. All right. The angel of Jehovah. He appears to her. Now, who is this angel of the Lord? Who is he? Brother
Reincarnate Jesus.
The pre-incarnate Christ. That's who he is. It's Jesus appearing to this woman now. That we don't have her name down there anywhere that I can find. But this angel, Jesus, appears unto this woman. All right? Now let's see what he says. Go ahead, Brother Randall.
Behold now, you are barren and have borne no children, but you shall conceive and give birth to a son.
All right, a son, a Ben. All right? The name Ben means son. All right? You shall have a Ben, a boy. You're going to have a son. And that was real important to them back then. You know, over in Oriental culture, in China today, if the men, they are, the society, the state, the nation there, only allows them to have so many children. And they want to make sure they have a son to carry on the name. All right? So a lot of times they'll have the child checked in the woman's womb, and if it's a boy or a girl, they'll abort it so they can have a son. I don't know what they're going to do in the end for women. Maybe have to import some of them. But she's going to have a son. Now here comes some restrictions, some very strong restrictions. I want someone to go to Numbers 6, 1 through 8. Numbers 6, 1 through 8, and look at it. Now we've been over there before. We studied this just a little bit earlier when we were in the book of Numbers. This is the Nazar. Nazar. All right? What's Nazar? You know what Nazar is? Well, is there a town in the land of Israel that comes from the root Nazar? Nazareth. All right. That means root. Okay? Now, do you remember this? This is the vow of the Nazarite. Okay? Now, we have Levites in the Bible. You remember when God appointed the Levites to be the priestly tribe? Okay? The priestly tribe. Before the patriarchs had that. Meshpatha, the Patria, the patriarchs were the leaders of every family. Okay? And God did away with the leaders of every family, and He put it in the hands of one tribe only. But that tribe had no inheritance. All right? Their only inheritance was what? Jehovah. They were the ones that led in that tribe. So the Levites, they were the leaders, spiritual leaders of Israel. Now, what about a Nazarite? What was a Nazarite?
No wine, no cut the hair, and
Couldn't go very dead person.
Well, okay, well, let's hold on here. That's the vow. But what were they? What were they? You could see a Nazarite real easy because they had long hair. All right? Instantly, you could see that they were Nazarite because they had long hair. They did not cut their hair. Everybody else cut their hair, but not a Nazarite. Even the Levites got to cut their hair, and I believe the reason why God had that happen was because He wanted the Nazarites to stand out. A Nazarite was a spiritual leader. They were a spiritual Levite, so to speak. They were like a priest. They chose to be a priest. You were born to be a priest as a Levite, all right, of the sons of Aaron, of the tribe of Levi. You were born that way. But a Nazarite chose for himself, and he took a vow, and it cost him money to do that. And he had to live a separated life like the Levites did while they were serving the Lord. Okay? He had to live a life like they did when they were serving the Lord. All right. Now, Numbers 6, 1 through 8, quickly, are you over there, Randall? Could you read that out real loud?
Again, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, When a man or woman takes a special vow, a vow of a Nazarite, to dedicate himself to the Lord, he shall abstain from wine and strong drink. He shall drink no vinegar, whether made from wine or strong drink, nor shall he drink any grape juice, nor eat flesh or dried grapes. All the days of his separation he shall not eat anything that is produced by the grapevine, from the seeds even to the skin. All the days of his vow of separation no razor shall pass over his head. He shall be holy until the days are fulfilled for which he separated himself to the Lord. He shall let the locks of hair on his head grow long. All the days of his separation to the Lord, he shall not go near a dead person. He shall not make himself unclean for his father or for his mother, for his brother or for his sister when they die, because his separation to God is on his head. All the days of his separation he is holy to the Lord.
All right. Now we have the whole order of the Nazarite. Now, not all of these things applied to Samson, did it? Not all these things applied to Samson. We're going to look at his name in a minute. Now, they were Shuhamites, is what these people were, Shuhamites. And it said in verse number 3, Then the angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said to her, Behold, you are barren, but and you've had no children, but you shall conceive, and you shall have a son. All right? Now, therefore, he tells her, right now, he tells her, he said, you're going to have a Nazarite in your womb, so you have to act like you're a Nazarite. Okay? You're going to have a Nazarite in your womb, so you have to, from this point on, you have to act like you have taken the vow of a Nazarite. Because this son is in you, and he is going to be a Nazarite from his mother's womb. In other words, yes, Sister Andina.
So that was like just for a certain time?
Just for a time,
period
while she
of
was
time?
pregnant. While she was pregnant, she had
the
to...
Nazarite.
Yeah.
Nazarite.
She had to act like she was a Nazarite all the time she was carrying this boy.
But I mean, the one that was the Nazarite, it was not for the rest of his life? Like
No, Now, John the Baptist was a Nazarite, and we have Samson as a Nazarite in the Bible. We have those basically two examples of Nazarites. Okay?
Was Jesus considered a Nazarite?
No, he was not. Jesus was not a Nazarite. He wasn't. All right? Now, it says, let all the locks of your hair grow. Now, most of the women in here, you have cut your hair to some. Even those that have long hair, you have bangs. Now, a Nazarite could not cut his hair at all. When I used to have my hair real long, all of my hair was long. I had no hair. All of my hair from the front back was long all the way down to my waist. It was long. All the locks were long. And that's the way the Nazarite was. When you saw a Nazarite, they'd say, this is a man of God. That's what they'd say. This is a man of God. Okay? Not any part. You couldn't cut the bangs in the front. You couldn't cut the side. None of it. You had to leave it long. All right? Now, Manoah means what? That name is very important now.
from peace.
You're going to get peace from Manoah. The peace is going to come from him. It will come from his descendant. All right? And she said, he told her, be careful not to eat any unclean thing. All right? Don't eat any unclean thing. Number 5. Would you like to read for me there, Don?
Are we still in chapter 6?
Number 5, I think it is.
But in chapter 6?
Oh yeah, and then
Right.
chapter 13.
Oh, okay.
Chapter 13 in Judges. Judges 13 and verse number 5.
For behold, you shall conceive and give birth to a son, and no razor shall come upon your head, for the boy shall be a Nazarite of God, to God for the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel from the hands of the Philistines.
All right, he shall begin to deliver Israel. He didn't finish it, but he was going to begin to deliver Israel. Now his father's name was from peace. peace was going to come from him, and this would be his son. But this son would be a Nazarite from his mother's womb. While she was carrying this child, she had to keep the vows of a Nazarite because she had the child in her. Okay? Number 6 now. Number 6. All right. Are you there, Brother Wally?
Well,
Okay, read number 6.
then the woman came and told her husband, saying, a man of God came.
All right, hold on right there now. Hold on right there. A man of God. Now, what she said here, a man from Elohim. Who appeared to her? Jehovah appeared to her. All right. John 1:1. In beginning is what it says in John 1:1. It says, in beginning kept on being Hologos, the Word. All right. And it says there, basically the word that they're talking about is Jehovah. That you could just interject the name Jehovah in there because that's what it's talking about. It's the unspeakable name of God is what it's talking about. I've lost my marker. As usual. The name Jehovah, you cannot say it. So they referred to the name of Jehovah as the Word or the name. Okay? Now Jehovah appeared to this woman. And she did not know who he was. He looked like a man. But she believed that he was a prophet of God. And when you said a man of Elohim, of the Elohim, Ha Elohim is what it says here, the man of God, the Creator has sent a man, and she said, a prophet appeared to me. That's what she said, a prophet appeared to me. All right? A prophet appeared to me. Brother Wally, go right on there now.
A man of God came to me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God, very awesome. But I asked him not from where he was, neither told he me his name.
All right. I didn't ask where he came from. I just knew he had a tremendous, brilliant appearance, like an angel from Ha Elohim, from the God. Now, this isn't some pagan god. This is the God, Ha Elohim. Ha is the definite article, or the in front of this Elohim. All right? Like that. Ha Elohim. The God. Not just any God, but the God of Israel. All right? The God of Israel. Okay?
So does she know who she's talking to then?
She hasn't figured it out yet.
Okay.
All she knows is he's a prophet. Later on, they're going to figure out who this guy is, and when it does, when they figure out who Jesus is, and this is God in flesh, they're afraid they're going to die. All right? So we'll look at that. It's too much ahead of there. Let's go on a little bit more. Number 7 there, Don. Would you read number 7 for me?
But he said to me, behold, you shall conceive and give birth to a son, and now you shall not drink wine, nor strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing, for the boy shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb to the day of his death.
All right. Now, this boy is going to be a perpetual, permanent Nazarite. Who was the other one in the Bible that was a permanent Nazarite from his mother's womb?
We already said it, John the Baptist.
John the Baptist. All right, John the Baptist. Now, as far as we know, God didn't give Elizabeth any orders to not drink wine or eat grapes or anything. Well, he was, we don't have any information about that, but here we do. All right. Now, this guy, John the Baptist was a permanent Nazarite, period. And he kept the vows of the Nazarite. Now, we're going to look at Samson now. Samson, he had quite a problem with his vows, didn't he? Since he didn't make them himself, he had a problem with it. He was like a boy, headstrong boy. All right, and that's what he was. Number 8 now. Number 8, Brother Rex.
Then Manoah entreated the Lord and said, O Lord, please let the man of God whom you have sent come to us again that he may teach us what to do for the boy who is to be born.
All right. Now let's look and see what he says here. Let's see what Manoah says. Okay? Then prayed Manoah to Jehovah. Oh boy. He is praying to Jehovah now. All right? He's praying to Jehovah and said, Adonai. All right? My Lord. Adonai. What's Adonai mean?
Provider.
Adonai. Adonai. All right? Adonai. What does that mean? King of kings and Lord of lords. All right? Jesus is called Jehovah Adonai Ha-Avonim. The Jehovah, the King of kings and Lords of lords and King of all kings and Lord of all lords. And it says that in the book of Revelation and several places in the Old Testament. So he knows that he is dealing with the King of the universe here. Manoah says, I'm dealing with the King of the universe. And he prays unto Jehovah. And he said, O Lord, the man, all right, he said the man, the Ish there, the Ish from God. And then he uses the word Elohim here again. The Creator. He said there's a man from the Creator because his wife said what? He said it was a Ish, a man of the Creator. But he addresses him as Jehovah Adonai. All right, Jehovah. What does Jehovah mean?
He who shall become.
He who shall become. That's what the name Jehovah means. It's from the Hebrew root of become. All right? He who shall become. That's the root of the name Jehovah right there. The one who shall become. All right? Now let's go on a little further down here. Number 9. Number 9. Sister Andino, are you over there anywhere? Number 9.
And God listened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came to the woman again, as she was sitting in the field. But Manoah, her husband, was not with her.
You know, this the Lord, the angel of the Lord there, he keeps going to the woman, doesn't he? Instead of the man. Now the man prayed, and now the Lord appears to the woman again. Out in the field. Out by herself. And then verse number 10. What in the world happened here? Verse number 10, Dr. John.
Then the woman ran to haste and told her husband, and said to him, Look, the man who came to me the other day has just now appeared to me.
All right, here's the man again. He came to me. She looks at him as a man. She still thinks he's a prophet. All right, she still thinks he's a prophet. So now what did Jesus look like? He looked like a man. All right. Now when God made us, he made us in his image, didn't he? When God made us, he made us in his image. All right. It says he made us in his shadow casting likeness. And what else? Dom. Remember the word Dom? What does the word Dom mean? Dom means blood. Adam's name, what God called Adam, is Adam. Think about that, Adam. That has blood in it. And the earth is Ha'adamah. All right? Again, the earth has the same chemical balance in it as blood in a human body. All right? Now, God didn't make man from dirt. We have to remember that. This is shocking, I know. But he didn't make him from dirt, but he made him as he made the dirt, from the same elements as he made the dirt, to become dirt. Because he knew he would fall. All right? It's a prophecy. So here we have the man now. Behold the man. Okay? She ran. She said, the man is here. All right? The same one appeared to me the other day. Number 11. Number 11. Brother Floyd. Are you over there?
And Manoah arose and went after his wife. And came to the man and said to him, Are you the man who spoke to this woman? And he said, I am.
All right. Does that remind you of something that Jesus said in the New Testament?
I am that I am.
I am that I am. In Exodus, he said what? God, when Moses asked God who he was, he said, I am that I am. Now, what is the root of that word I am? Hayah. Jehovah. That's who he was. That's who he was.
You know, that implies no beginning,
At
no
no
end.
end. In John 1 and 1, in Genesis 1 and it says, Barashith, bara. In one of the beginnings created God the heavens and the earth. All right? In one of the beginnings. That's a plural word. But in John 1 and 1, that's the oldest period of time in the Bible. In the Hebrew Bible, I don't know if you can see all that. That thing doesn't, you know, that's a new thing. And it still doesn't work right. In the Hebrew Bible, the first letter that starts off is that word Barashith. It starts with a bet, all right? It starts with a B. Ours, it would be a B. It starts off with that. Now look at this. It's built like a horseshoe, isn't it? Kind of. Everything on this side we can understand. All right? But on this side here is only God. Okay? Only God. That's what the Hebrew rabbis say. That on this side of the Beit, it says Barashith in the first verse in the Hebrew Old Testament. Everything on that side of it only is God out there. In one of the beginnings, God created the heavens and the earth. And then it says, in John 1:1, it says, in RK. All right? In RK. In RK. That's locative, the singular, the feminine, and it's singular. In out here, beyond this Beit, where only God existed, it says in RK, and then it says Ein Hologos. He kept on being. God existed for eternity. That's way over here in our chart, out here in eternity past, when nothing else was before the angels, before any spirits were ever created. God existed out there continuously forever. And that's where that word Hayah, or Jehovah, comes from. Not only is he the eternal existing one, he is the one that became in time and space our Savior here. And he's where all of these sacrifices from there all the way here represented. Every time they sacrificed an animal, it represented Jehovah, the one sacrifice that was to come. He said, I am. All right? And then in verse number 12. Verse number 12. Are you the man that spoke to the woman? He said, what? I am. Ego eimi is what it says in Exodus 3:14 in the Septuagint. I am. And Jesus, in his own words in the New Testament, they said, you were before Abraham? And he said, I am. And he was quoting the Septuagint. And what did they want to do to him? Stone him, because he said he was God.
So they knew very well what he
They knew exactly who he was. When Jesus spoke to them, he told them. He corrected the Septuagint. He corrected their interpretation of the Hebrew Bible, all of that. In the original languages, you can see this.
But we have people today, a lot of them, that don't recognize that today.
Yes.
Do they read their Bible?
Some people read the Bible like they read the funny papers. I read the Bible that is the Word of God. It is God's Word. I taught it in Greek and Hebrew all of my life, and I believe that the Word of God is inspired from the original language and never tense mode and voice without faith.
A lot of us
Yeah.
haven't learned Greek and Hebrew, but we still read it that way.
You still read it like it is God's revealed will. It's your instruction manual from God is what it is. All right? Number 12, I think, is where we ended up. Are you there, Dawn?
I am there.
Okay.
And Manoah said, now, when your words come to pass, what shall be the boy's mode of life and his vocation?
All right. Now, he said, what's my boy going to do? What kind of occupation is he going to have?
He's going to be a Nazarite.
Huh?
He's going to be a Nazarite.
That's right. He's going to be a Nazarite. That's it. Not a Nazarene now. Jesus was a Nazarene. There's a difference. Isn't there? What's the difference between a Nazarite and a Nazarene?
The vow.
What?
One was born there and the other's
One
the
of them was
vow.
born in Nazareth. That's a Nazarene.
And the other's the vow.
And the other one is a Nazarite, is a vow. Jesus was not a Nazarite. He was a Nazarene. That's the difference. Okay? Because he didn't take the vow. Did Jesus ever drink wine?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Did he ever eat grapes?
Probably
Sure he did. All right. If he drank wine, he ate grapes.
Wasn't even supposed to eat raisins.
No, wasn't supposed to eat raisins or anything, but he did. All right. He was not a Nazarite. He was a Nazarene. Okay. Number 15. Number 15 here. Sister Andino, are you there?
Then Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, please let us detain you, and we will prepare a young goat for you.
All right. Now they're going to prepare a young goat for me. Remember, I told you I was over there in Syria one time, and these people still carry these customs. I had been over there for about a week in Damascus, Syria, in this hotel. Well, we were going to finish our day up there, and they were going to prepare us a special meal. All right, and they prepared it's either a young lamb or a young goat, very young, and they cut it up and they roast this, and they had camel yogurt gravy. Is what we had. Camel. Now that's curds. That's what Abraham fed Jehovah when he came to visit him. Okay, that's what Abraham fed Jehovah. So now here they're going to turn the custom over again, and it's going to continue this custom and say, "We're going to feed you. You come to our house now. We're going to feed you." All right. That's what we do. We're going to feed you. Will you stay and eat with us and bless us? When they ate with them, they blessed them. Now the New Testament says something. People have entertained angels unaware, it says. All right? And they said, remember to entertain strangers because people have entertained angels unaware. In other words, feed them. All right? And that's what to do here. This is a very common custom of the day. All right? And the angel of the Lord said to Manoah, though you detain me, I will not eat your food. Look at this. Okay? Number 16. Let's look at that. Brother Randall. Number 16. All right, number 16.
The angel of the Lord said to Manoah, though you detain me, I will not eat your food, but if you prepare a burnt offering, then offer it to the Lord. For Manoah did not know that he was the angel of the Lord.
All right, now here is Jehovah talking to him. Jehovah came down. Jehovah is there talking to him. Okay? He didn't know that. Now, remember we're here in Judges now. We're in this period of time, right over in here, isn't it? Right here during this dark period of time in Israel's history. Okay? They already had the Ark of the Covenant. They already had the tabernacle and all this kind of stuff. Now, how did God reveal himself to Israel to lead them? How did he lead them during this period of time? Even when he led them out of Egypt, how did he lead them? By what? By
the tabernacle.
Well, they hadn't had the tabernacle when he led them out. They didn't have that yet. How did God lead Israel out of Egypt? What did he do? How did he show himself? As a pillar of fire. All right? And this is what we call the Shekinah glory of God. And the word Shekinah there is a Hebrew invention because they didn't know what to call it. Okay? And it has the idea of a divine shining presence, but it's feminine. It's a nurturing presence. All right, of God. It's a nurturing presence, the one who nurtures. And this is the one that fought with Israel. This is the one that led Israel into the land and everything all the time. This is the Shekinah presence of God. Okay, the glory presence of the Lord. All right. They know his angel of the Lord. All right, where did we cut off there, Brother Randall? Where are we?
16.
All right, now he said, I'm not going to eat your food, but prepare your food as if you were going to make a sacrifice to Jehovah. Okay. He's about to reveal himself now. Brother Don, number 17.
And Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, what is your name, so that when your words come to pass, we may honor you?
What's your name? All right. Now, what did Moses say to the Lord, Jehovah? What's your name? Again, what's your name? What is the Lord's name? How many titles of Jehovah are there? Many titles of Jehovah.
She had a whole list of them.
Yeah. We had a whole list of them. On the front of our website, discovertheword.com, you can go down there. It said the names of God. All of those, all describing. Isaiah describes it also. Isaiah 9 and 6, I think it is. Isaiah 9 and 6. Let's go there and look at that. All right. What is your name? How can we honor you? Isaiah 9 and 6. Anyone over there in Isaiah 9 and 6? Are you over there yet, Don? No.
Not yet.
Okay. Anyone over in 9 and 6? John, Brother John, are you there?
For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulders, and his name will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end, upon the throne of David and over his kingdom, in order and establish it, and with judgment and justice from that time forward forever. The zeal of the Lord of the hosts will perform this.
Okay, now this is talking about Jehovah. Now this is Jehovah, isn't it? It's talking about when Jehovah comes into the earth. This is when Jehovah is going to become. John 1:14, Kao logo sarxageniko, and the Word, flesh he became, and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory as of the only begotten God. All right? No one ever like him. And that's who's talking to them here now. All right?
He's the same Jesus.
The same person.
Mhm.
The same person is talking to them. John 1:14, all of this. Seeing his, in verse number 18, let's look at that now. How we may honor him. Number 18, Don, you want to read that? Did you read it before?
But the angel of the Lord said to him, Why do you ask my name? Seeing is wonderful.
It's wonderful. It's incomprehensible. It's incomprehensible. Why do you ask my name? It's incomprehensible. You know, even the Muslims say that the name of God is, they describe him in hundreds of ways. How wonderful he is, the name of God. And that's what it is. His name is incomprehensible. Number 19 now. Number 19. And this is where they're going to scare the daylights plumb out of them. Brother Rex, are you over there?
So Manoah took the young goat with the grain offering and offered it on the rock to the Lord. And he performed wonders while Manoah and his wife looked on.
All right. Manoah took the kid with the grain offering and offered it on the rock to the Lord. All right. Remember, how about altars? What did an altar have to be like? Remember the altars in the Old Testament? It had to be made of uncut stone. Had to be. No man had anything to do with it. You couldn't build an altar out of bricks.
No tool on it.
No tools on it. Why? Because this was God's altar. Because it stood for our salvation. We are saved by grace alone. Nothing we can do. All right? All altars, they could not be elevated. It had to be on flat ground. It had to be on dirt. Or it had to be on a rock. A not unhewn rock. How many of you knew that? Anybody? How many of you didn't know that? That's something that I think I told you before, didn't I, Brother X? All right. So here we have an uncut stone, and they put this sacrifice on it, and now we see the Lord performing great wonders, miracles. All right, number 20 now. Number 20. Number 20, Brother Randall.
For it came about when the flame went up from the altar toward heaven that the angel of the Lord ascended in the flame of the altar. When Manoah and his wife saw this, they fell on their faces to the ground.
Here we go. Now this is what we give guys, Brother Don,
They figured it out.
All right, this is what happened now. They fell with their faces on the ground. Dr. John, number 21.
When the angel of the Lord appeared no more to Manoah and his wife, then Manoah knew that he was the angel of the Lord.
All right, here is the angel of Jehovah. This is the presence of the Jehovah. This is the Shekinah glory of God. In Moses, at the tabernacle, at nighttime, they saw a pillar of fire going up to heaven. And what they saw here was a pillar of fire taking the angel of the Lord right back to heaven. Woo! That'd scare you. That'd make your hair stand on end. All right. Number 22. Now Manoah, he is upset here. Brother Don, number 22.
So Manoah said to his wife, We shall surely die, for we have seen God.
We have seen God.
Finally, they realized.
Finally, they realized. At the end of the story now, this is the end of the story. Verse number 22. Number 22. All right? All right. They realized it was the Malek, Jehovah, and he said, we have seen the Creator. We have seen Elohim. We have seen the whole Creator. Now, in Colossians, the first chapter, who does it say the Creator was? The Creator of the heavens and the earth. Who's the Elohim that created the heavens and the earth? Jesus. Who holds it together? Jesus. All right? In John, the first chapter, the first few verses, it said, He came to his own creation, but his creation received him not. But everything that was created with, not one thing was created without him. So we see, in our person, we see God. We're created in the image of God. It said we're his blood-flowing likeness, we're his shadow-casting image, and we are his spiritual likeness. we are created to be eternal. You're not going to go out of this world and cease to exist. You're not going to do any soul sleeping either. All of this, we're going to be with the Lord. All right? We're going to be with the Lord. And so it says, surely we're going to die, for we have seen God. Now let's go on just a couple more verses here. Brother David, number 23.
But his wife said to him, if the Lord has desired to kill us, he would not have accepted a burnt offering and a grain offering from our hands. Nor would he have shown us all these things, nor would he have told us such things as these at this time.
All right, he said, now if God wanted to kill us, he would have already done it. Dr. John, number 24.
So the woman bore a son and called his name Samson, and the child grew, and the Lord blessed him.
All right, now what in the world does Samson mean? Here's the word Samson right here. Samson. Samson. All right? Samson. It's Shamshun is what it actually is. What does Samson mean? Anybody know? Anybody know what that name means? Bill, you know what that name means?
Samson,
Uh-huh.
puny and strong.
Well, Samson, they had a lot of times, a lot of people have said it means like the sun. Okay? But Josephus disagreed with that. And he said what his name means is devastation. What his name means is devastation. All right? It means to totally destroy. It means a strong one. And it comes from the word shad. Shadah. That's what it comes from right there. Like the word. Which means to destroy. It means to be powerful. To cause destruction. And what was his job? What was his job? His daddy asked, what's his occupation going to be? His occupation is going to be the destroyer. He's going to destroy the Philistine. Now what is Jesus going to do when he comes back and sets this world in order? It's going to be destruction. And in a way, he is a type of Christ. Because he is going to bring, with a rod of iron, he's going to rule the nations and the world in it. And then it says here in verse number 25, and we'll come back there next week, that's where we're going to go. We're going to spend a little time on Samson because he's very important. This guy is an important biblical character. Okay, all of them are, but what does it say? Where did Dr. John? He's already gone. All right. Brother Randall, number 25.
And the Spirit of the Lord began to stir him in Maneth Dan between Zorah and Eshtaol.
All right. Now the Spirit of Jehovah. Now the one that came to visit them, this is the Ruah Jehovah. All right. This is the Ruah, the Spirit of Jehovah that begins to poke him. In Peter, I believe it was, said in the New Testament, he said, men of old prophesied of God, received the Word of God. And what it does, it draws a picture, word picture, of a person riding a stallion. Okay? This is the way God come upon people. Now, how many of you ever watched horses that were trained in dressage? The Lipizzan stallions? All right? They have cues from the spurs and the way you set in the saddle, and they act. They act out what the rider is telling them to do. You get on there and you just touch your horse or just lean in the saddle a certain way. I used to train horses, and I trained one time, and a little boy from Texas came out here, and he wanted to buy a horse for his daughter, and I had a real good trained quarter horse. I took him out here, right below the bluffs over there by that church down there, by that riding stable out there, and a big arena out there, and this guy wanted to try this horse out, and I said, have you ever ridden a horse? Yeah, I've ridden all kinds of horses. I said, you ever been on a trained horse? Oh, yeah. I said, now this horse, you've got to set straight in the middle of that saddle. I said, if you lean too far one way or the other, he thinks you're going to turn. So he will turn out from underneath you. Okay? I said, this horse is trained. I said, you go out there, I said, he'll do serpentine lead changes and everything like this. He'll go left lead, right lead, whichever way you lean in that saddle, that's where he's going to take his lead. I said, you circle this way, and when you're circling or whatever, if you lean too far one way, he's going to turn. So I said, be ready. Oh, I ride horses before. He got on that horse, and he got out there, and just couldn't hardly stay on it. That horse was just going every which direction. He was all over that saddle. He finally came back. He said, that horse has got power steering. I said, no, that horse is broke. He's trained. I trained him in dressage. Now that's the way God guides people. In the New Testament and the Old Testament writers, God just controlled them. They put in their words, but God controlled every word that they say. It says here that the Spirit Jehovah came upon Samson, the destroyer. All right, the destroyer. He came upon Samson and he controlled him. He poked him in the ribs. He guided him in the way that he should go. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? That he came to him and guided him, the Spirit of Jehovah. And he began to stir him, began to poke him, began to prompt him in Manah Ha-Dan. What that means is the camp of Dan. I don't know why they didn't just go ahead and translate that, the camp of Dan. So we're going to start in verse number 26 next week, or not 26, but chapter number 14, where Samson went down to Timnah. That's where we're going to go. And we're going to look at some other things. Have you discovered a few things in here? It's exciting. To me, it's exciting. All right. Brother Bill, are you the person today? Thank you for your attention. Thank you for studying the Word of God with us. Hope you come back next week. And Brother Bill, it's yours.
Okay. Linda, it's our prayer request for today. Linda says, thank God for my children being in my class this morning. Pray.
Of obedience. That's the one that gets X'd out and a new one put in there. Okay? Now, number four. Number four. This is very important because it leads us right into this. Okay? It leads us right into this. What is the source of life?
God's the source of life.
What is the source of life?
God.
God. God is the source of life. In Lakota. In Lakota. That's Indian. Lakota. There's Lakota, Dakota, and Dakota, and I'm all three of them for the know. That's Sioux. The word Sioux is a perverted word. I am not a Sioux Indian, even though I am a Sioux Indian. But the word Sioux is an Ojibwe French term which means cutthroat. So we don't like to be called cutthroats, all right? We don't like to be called Sioux, but that's what they call it, Sioux. All right? The word Lakota means one of the human beings. Dakota means one of the human beings, and Nakota means one of the human beings. In almost every language, it means one of the living human beings that was created in the image of God. All right? Now in Lakota, the name for the father is Wakan Tonka. The name for the son is Tonkashila. And the name for the spirit is Skan Taku Skan Skan. Okay? They're very beautiful. Let's look at the word Skan Taku Skan Skan. Now, what part did the Holy Spirit play in creation? Every part of it. The Father was the blueprinter. The Son was the instigator, and where did the power come from?
The doer.
All right.
The doer.
The doer.
Spirit.
All right, the Spirit. Let's look at that. Spirit is the source of life. God is the source of life. Skan Taku Skan Skan. An Indian, when he looks at anything out there, it says it has Skan Taku Skan Skan in it. That tree out there. Now, they don't worship trees. I'm telling you that right now. That tree has Skan in it. It has life. If it don't have life, it's going to crumble up and die and go away and quit functioning. A blade of grass has Skan in it. A fish, every animal has Skan in it. Life. Spirit in it. All right?
The rock don't.
They're going to find out one of these days that even dirt has life in it.
Yeah.
And every rock. What is crying for the redemption?
The Creator.
Where was man is related to what? He's related to what? Dirt, the creation. Where did the dirt come from? Where did the earth come from? God. Think about all that now. Now, this may be too much for you today. You may have to put this under your hat and work on it for 50 years. All right? Because that is something else. Brother Farrar talked to me about this. And I said, boys, you're not going to understand everything I'm saying today, but just keep it. Put it on file, and 30 years from now, you might understand it better. And I have. But I don't understand it all today. There is a time element in learning, isn't there? You, when you're young, you can go through all these little Bible courses and everything when you get there. You know, Brother Blanton, when I was down in that seminary, I was a substitute teacher from the very first day I went there. Because I had studied all the books. I was laid up with a back surgery, and I studied every book in there. I went to extension classes. I'd already had 3 years of Greek and 3 years of Hebrew, and so I was instantly the substitute teacher for everybody. And Brother Alan Atkins had taught me God's eternal purpose, and I was taking God's eternal purpose under Brother Farrar, and he had talked to Brother Atkins, and he says, first week I was in there, he said, Brother Phillips, you're my substitute. I was there the first week teaching his class with all these people. Pretty hard. What I used to not like to teach was the beginning classes. When them preachers come to school, you know what, Brother Blanton, they think they know everything already. And they're all of their hallway theology. All of their bantering over, like the Jews did, over how many angels can light on a pin, a head of a pin or something. All this foolishness. I like to teach the advanced classes, the postgraduate classes, the advanced Hebrew and advanced Greek and the etymology and stuff, because they were there to learn. They had learned they didn't know anything by then. They had learned that they didn't know anything by then. Next week, we're going to finish right here, number 5. We're going to finish. We're going to start right up there next week, the Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. All right. Where are you, brother? Brother David Lynn. The one in the back. I just found out they got the same middle name. All right. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for enduring those hard seats. I hope that this class meant something to you. It meant a lot to me to teach you. I can tell you that much. It was beautiful. Beautiful lesson. Brother David.
Okay, Emma would like guidance for her family and help us all remember that we're here for God's purpose. And she would like us to all be helped with our current trials. Wally and Frida would like prayer for her daughter-in-law who follows the Jehovah's Witnesses. And Robert requests guidance in his job search and that God puts him where he needs to be. Espy would like us to pray for